Yep. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Finance and Governance Committee meeting. I declare this meeting open at 6:01 p.m. I would like to acknowledge the Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional custodians of all lands, waters and sky in the Georges River area. I pay my respect to elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who live, work and meet on these lands. There are no apologies. Okay. There were no requests to attend via audio-visual link. Staff and public are reminded that this meeting is being recorded for minute-taking purposes and is also being broadcast live to the public on Council's website in accordance with Section 5 of Council's Code of Meeting Practice. The recording will be made available on Council's website. The order of business is as shown in the agenda, which has been made available. Staff and public are reminded that this meeting is open. Doors to the meeting room are to be left open unless the meeting moves into a closed confidential session, according to Section 14 of the Code of Meeting Practice. Only if the meeting moves into a closed confidential session will the public broadcasting of the meeting be suspended. Council's Code of Meeting Practice prohibits electronic recording of meetings without the express permission of Council. Mobile phones must be turned to silent during the meeting. Do any councillors have any interest to declare? No? No. There are no speakers registered for tonight's meeting. Confirmation of the meetings of the Finance and Governance Committee meeting, FIN 02624. Can I call for a mover and a seconder?
Motion, Madam Chair.
I'll second.
I'll put that motion forward. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
All those against? I declare that motion carried. FIN 02724 investment report as at 31st of May 2024. Can I have a mover and a seconder?
I'll second that.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, through the chair, I just have one question. That's on paragraph 23. And that's the, it keeps coming up every time we have a meeting. Council suffered a capital loss of 215,000. Back to December 2006. Now we're talking 24 years. Are they going anywhere with it? Do you know? Have we had
Through
any?
the chair, so I can't remember if it was last year or the prior year. I think it might have been the prior financial year. We did receive an outcome from another litigation. So there is no they're not time bound. So they're probably not a priority of the acting lawyer, but it's good that we just participate, even if it takes 20 years, 25 years, and we get the money back. Because the other one was from the same period and we only received, it was a lot more substantial, but that was only 2 years ago or so that we received.
Get
the outcome.
interest?
Yeah, you get interest as well. Yeah,
Interest.
yeah. So it costs us nothing to be involved in it. We may as well just see it on there, though we did chase up for a bit of a status as well. So hopefully the next meeting or in the next few reports, we'll get a bit of an update, but probably as well, because we're only a small amount, it's probably not going to be.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll put the motion forward. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any against? There being no.
Sorry, who moved it and seconded it?
Peter moved it. I seconded it.
What was that?
All right. I declare the motion carried. FIN 02824 Cars Park Cafe lease. Can I call for a mover and a seconder?
I'll move.
It's a catch.
And a seconder? Second it. Poor Veronica's in my line of vision. Have we got any questions?
I do have a question through you to the director. So council's not satisfied that any of the tenders met our requirements or met the threshold or whatever, however you want to say it. So we go to tender to make it a fair process, and now we're going to go into a negotiation process. So how does it then remain a fair process after that? If you could just take me through that process.
Can I add on something onto that? And then also on that, how does council choose who they're going to negotiate with? The the people that they're going to say, you know, are you interested in this? How do they do that? Like with,
through the chair. So my understanding, and I might still take it on notice and just confirm, but my understanding is that both parties will be given the same right for negotiation.
Only those
So,
that tendered
yeah,
go into a negotiation.
as long as they're conforming tender, I believe. I can confirm, but I don't believe the non-conforming tenders are given that opportunity, but I'll confirm that. And they're both treated to the same negotiation terms, and then it would be the GM's delegation as to what they agree. But you'd always want to see that we weren't going backwards, or we weren't seeing a more detrimental effect. I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
Through the chair, I think Todd's online, I think he can answer that. But I thought everyone who did submit a tender does have an opportunity.
Yeah.
To enter negotiations with our agent. Yeah.
And the difference between, sorry, the non-conforming and conforming, it's just that they didn't.
So through the chair, there's certain requirements that may be sometimes incomplete. They might not give financials, or they might not complete a relevant document that's required as part of the assessment. So then they will get sort of struck off because of that, because they didn't conform with the requirements of the tender.
And so if they didn't conform, like, so they just didn't provide one document or something like that, so then if someone else did, then good luck to them, they did it right, the other person misses out. In this instance, no one's met the threshold, so is the negotiations council providing guidance on where they were falling short and what they would need to do to bring themselves up to a conforming proposal?
Through the chair, once the tender occurs, it's difficult to kind of manipulate. I guess you can't then give an advantage to someone and say,
Yeah.
oh, you missed this document. I think if it's general things that they can see, they don't want them to just miss out of, maybe they've missed a document, or they think maybe they didn't upload it. The team, I'm under the impression, give them the assurance, say, just checking that you didn't provide this document, we haven't seen it, or something like that. But generally it's things like it's incomplete sections, or it's poor or inadequate responses to things. But probably the point is, maybe from a training point, how do we train people in terms of submitting tenders? Is always, you do see it with bigger companies, they tend to be in a higher standard. With those that probably don't have the resources and support to submit tenders, it might always have an advantage the bigger the company sometimes.
And when they go into this negotiation phase, is council allowed to then provide some of that education or guidance? Is that what we do then? What is the negotiation phase?
It's about trying to reach a conclusion with the agreement. It's not about improving the tender. You're abandoning the tender at this point, or not abandoning, you're choosing to go into negotiation because you didn't reach a conclusion with the tender. So it's recommending that you move away from that and just go into direct negotiations because you've tested the market and the outcome hasn't been received.
Okay.
I guess that was sort of like, I would sort of ask that in terms of you're trying to promote local businesses and stuff, but they're not going to be, they don't have the resources and the small businesses to be able to spend hours doing tenders.
Yes, through the chair, the tendering is required under the Act, so property. So it's one of those things we can educate in that, but it is still quite a lengthy process as well. But it's a good outcome in that we can negotiate with them, so it gives you that option to then you still hopefully find an outcome that's reasonable for council and not far off what the intentions of the tender were as well.
And I just have another question, just in regards to point D of the motion, that a further report will be provided to council in November detailing the outcome of the negotiation process and a recommendation to award. So will it still be decision of council to award the tender based on the GM's recommendation?
Through the chair, yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Any other questions?
That's my questions.
Any other questions? I'll put the motion forward. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Any against? I declare the motion carried. To do that. Oh, there being no other business on the agenda, I declare this meeting closed at 6:11 p.m. Thank you.